Yeah.
But I think they're getting it together a little bit here. They have the weapons.
They always did, though.
And the Rams have legitimately, you're talking Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, and then Derek Carr, and then Cam Akers and Ben Skoranek and Van Jefferson and John Walford.
They had the Seahawks dead to rights last week.
Yeah, you're not a believer in the Seahawks. Hey, pulled it off. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL Strategy Show. First look edition, baby. DeAndre Swift is back, huh? And how about them Lions? He is. What are you shaking your head at me? We'll get into it. Lions favorites against the 10-2 Minnesota Vikings this week. Woo! That line, a little movement there. And not only that, I mean, they started off 1-6. It was a shit show early on. Fun times in the National Football League right now. We're going to break it all down. We got I was so thrilled. I messaged Ben immediately when I found out that we had only 10 games this week. It's not because it's less work or anything, an extra game or two is whatever. I guess you could say it adds a little bit, but I just prefer like 10 game slates. In my opinion, if every single week was a 10 game slate, I would love it. Anyway, I'm Dave Loughran. I love you _D on Twitter. Follow me, say hello in the new Elon Musk run Twitter. Wild world out there. Huh? And Ben Rasa at Jazzraz DFS joining me. He has since deleted his Twitter in protest and let everyone know about it beforehand. Just very upset.
Smart.
Listen, we'll get through it.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to delete my Twitter. All my suspended burners now are reinstated. So it's a nice trade-off for me. Feeling good.
How many burners does Aton have?
Well, that's more than me, that's for sure. I can't even manage one. I was thinking about Twitter before the show today. I have nothing to tweet. Like I want to tweet and I just have nothing.
Me too.
It's quite unfortunate. I don't know how people manage burners. I don't have anything to say on my real Twitter. I can't imagine doing more than one.
It is remarkable though how like I've had to mute people that I've followed because they tweet every 15 minutes the entire day.
Yeah.
And like once in a while they'll hit a nice tweet, but it's littered between a bunch of nonsense. And you wouldn't have time to do that even if you wanted to, right? Like to just consistently. I'm more creative and entertaining. Still follow me. Yeah, once in a while I'll get some good ones out there, but and you'll see some tilts, which is always. But I think I'm a more interesting, entertaining person in the flesh, Ben, in real life. I don't have that same. A lot of people, I think you would agree with me here. A lot of people that are incredible on Twitter would be like the most boring hang in real life in the world. You know what I mean?
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I think in general, I mean, that's always kind of you see us particularly all the time, like how are we in real life versus how we are on shows. That's always an interesting, like I've met other people that I see on shows all the time and they're not what you think. That's always an interesting wrinkle, and Twitter's like that. And
by the way, I envy some of them people who are just fantastic at Twitter.
Oh yeah. I wish I was good. I think about it and then I'm like, what are they doing that I can't do? And it's like, honestly, nothing. But then I just go back to living my life. I can't do it. I can't do it.
How often do you, how often do you personally like type up a tweet and then just delete it and never send it? Like something that you thought about, that you thought was pretty good. And you're like, you know what? I'm not going to do it.
Not as often as you would think. The problem that I have, two-part problem, and then maybe we'll talk a little football. One is I know what I have a tweet and I know there's some type of way to phrase it and I can't get it down. I stumble over the words like that. The most tilting with me with Twitter is I think of something pretty clever. Like that's a pretty good tweet. And then I don't tweet it. And then somebody else does. And it's like double
blows
viral.
Up.
It's like, I had that. I knew that was a smart thing to say.
And didn't do it. You had to trust your gut is the problem. Yeah. MJ said Pete Overzet. Yeah, Pete Overzet's good on Twitter.
He knows what he's doing.
Pat McAfee. Yeah, Pat McAfee, I think, has the best sports show. I love his sports show, dude.
I don't watch it, but
I love the Pat McAfee show. And I always shout out, like, Ian Hartitz is really good with Twitter. Like, these guys are real creative. You can, before we get into this week 13 recap and hit on week 14, by the way, happy to have you guys with us as always. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel. If you're listening in podcast form, that's cool too. We see you. Leave subscribe to the podcast. Leave a rating, a review. All that stuff helps us. And if you're watching YouTube after the fact, leave a comment. Ben and I love to get into the weeds, reading those comments, see how many people are sick and tired of us. You know what bothers the hell out of me? I was thinking about this the other day. You will not align with my thinking here because it's something very stupid. All right. You know how people say, like, if you have to time someone or you're counting something, but you don't have a stopwatch on you, you know how they say, why are you looking at me like that?
Who has a stopwatch? Go ahead.
Everyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, literally just go to stopwatch.
Yeah, I get it. Go on.
So the dumbest thing in the world is the whole, like, how did this happen where you're like, just do 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi? It is the most inefficient, impractical way of counting because there's no way to get the Mississippi. Is it 1 Mississippi or is it 1 Mississippi? Like, after you get through 3 or 4 seconds, you're just so far off that it's entirely pointless. You ever think about that?
No.
It's impractical. It makes 0 sense. Think about what I'm saying though. Like, you're using that as a way to keep time, but it's the worst way to keep time.
I don't disagree with, I mean, this won't surprise you either. I have not like a supernatural ability, but I'm pretty good at stuff like that where I can just like gauge time pretty accurately.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to ask you not to look at the camera, and I'm going to ask you to count to 15. Okay?
And then what?
We're going to see if you get it accurately. Ready?
Where am I supposed to? And then what happens at 15?
Just count, dude. You said you have a good internal clock.
Okay, you ready?
All right, ready, set, go.
1, 2.
Wait, hold on. Fucked it up.
Great job.
Ready, set.
Hold on. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you do it.
Okay. Can I just start anytime?
Ready, set, go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
That's not bad.
Yeah, off by a second.
That's not
bad at all.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah,
okay.
I can do it.
All right, you win, but you don't use the Mississippi approach.
No, I just use the second approach because I can gauge how long a second is pretty closely.
That's pretty good. All right. Not bad. I'll give it to you. I guess I'm not. People are very impressed in chat, except Go Blue said this might be the dumbest topic ever.
You're not wrong about that either, but
we've had some pretty dumb stuff before.
Yeah, right. I have another topic later in the show. It's going to blow your mind. I got a couple of things for week 13 that I do want to get to though.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to spend time on the Broncos. I'm going to save time for the show. The Broncos are too irrelevant to even talk about. You could talk about them if you want.
Well, I just want to say that, again, they held an opposing team to 10 points on the final drive. Like, you can't be like, oh, the Denver Broncos defense couldn't hold up. No, like they gave up a touch. They gave up 10 points. I don't care if no Lamar Jackson. Like, Huntley's not the worst backup out there either.
No, not at all.
And then Wilson's receiving core was depleted throughout the game. I don't care. He shouldn't start the rest of the season. But you need to just give the ball to somebody else so the team decides to show up for practice and for games. That's all I will say. Justin said Broncos under is free money. Yes, dude. That's been my most profitable bet all season long. I'm with you 100%. They're now 1-11 to they've gone under in 11 of 12 games. It's been a lock. I don't know why I'm serious, dude. I don't know why Broncos not this one against Kansas City, but I don't, and yes, Lamar was out. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made. I don't know why they're not putting these totals at 35 for Broncos games, Ben. I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of have to. It's just sad, honestly. Sad for the league, sad for anyone that watches the sport that there's a team like this, because really, really bad. And then eventually they will move on from this coach and then they'll get it together. But the other spots in the league, you mentioned Detroit, their offense is dangerous. Got to admit that. Washington and the Giants played to a tie. The Eagles, you mentioned Jordan Davis several times last week. Not only did he make an impact, but they're just proving it used to be like, well, they're not a gimmicky run. They're almost like Baltimore. They can obviously throw the ball too. They're getting more dynamic as the season goes on. Those are my big takeaways. And then obviously the biggest news was the Niners.
The Niners are big. Yeah, with the look, this was one. I'm not usually confident in the Eagles. I was pretty confident here just because this is one of those teams that not confident that they cover, but confident that they would put up points and score. It really is a pick your poison offense right now. And, you had Jalen Hurts rush for 157 the game before throwing for 350 and 3 touchdowns. And with AJ, they'll beat you in any way they can. And I heard someone put it nicely the other day. It's like, if they're worried about AJ Brown, you take him away. Okay, we have someone else. If you're worried about Devonta Smith, we got someone else. If you're worried about the run game and Jalen Hurts running, we got someone else. They just go down the list. Next man up. They're an impressive football team right now, no doubt. Derrick Henry, that floor looked mighty low in spots like that. Sucked to see Treylon Burks get hurt. I kind of like him. I like him. Yeah, I like him this week if he's back. But the Niners. You were heavy on the Niners last week, real heavy. That was your favorite bet of the week. Not as much from a DFS perspective. I know that much, but no. Jimmy Garoppolo goes out. He's done for the season with a broken foot.
Yep.
And then Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, comes in Shanahan's offense and they beat up on Miami. That defense had Tua Tagovailoa looking like an average quarterback at best. Man, what a dominant performance and statement game that was for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the first play of the game, they throw like a 3-yard kind of slant pass and Sherfield takes it 80 yards. And it's like, how is Miami doing this? Like, how is their offense this good? And then to see the Niners settle in, and that, I mean, it's easy to say this now, but you could check the odd shopper tape. That is what I thought they could do to Tua. I thought they could get to him. He makes some bad throws, particularly when you can get pressure on him. I think the bigger question, we know that San Francisco has got every piece. Can you win with Brock Purdy? I mean, if they get Baker, just delete the franchise. I think that would be a huge mistake.
Shanahan already said it seems very unlikely that they would win that route.
Stick with Brock Purdy.
At this point, yeah.
I just don't know if they can beat elite teams with him.
Like, do they beat the Eagles with Brock Purdy?
I mean, the biggest benefit for the Niners is that Jimmy G, as solid as he is in some areas, he's not he manages the game more than most. You're not taking out an elite focal point of the offense and replacing him. So Brock Purdy needs to not screw it up and they could be fine.
I think you're right. The thing again with the Eagles though is they have the offensive line and the blocking in the run game, which, the Miami Dolphins are not a team that's going to beat you on the ground. Like, they're not a team that you want getting caught in a grinded out battle, right? Like they need to be involved in a shootout. And if they can't get that going, it's going to be trouble. Raiders look good. Deshaun Watson looked terrible in his return. It looked like that ball weighed 100 pounds. It was really weird. I don't know, like his throwing motion looked odd. Maybe I'm overreacting to this. Still easy cover, because when you're facing Houston, they're going to find ways to give you the game.
That was just dumb. What a dumb, three.
But they'll always find, that's the thing though, man. Like, I don't even look at that as me being lucky as much. Like, did I think the offense would be better? Absolutely. But I still go, Houston's terrible and they can't score points. So if you never have the ball, usually other better teams are going to find ways to win. But that was they have three. They have a punt return, kick return, or a punt return, fumble return, and kick return touchdown
Pick
or something.
six. Yeah.
Okay. And a pick six. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's no doubt. And then one last one, and then we can get into quarterbacks. It's honestly a perfect segue. Joe Burrow. I mean, we know that he's good, but man, does he answer the call in the biggest moments. Just fantastic game once again against the Chiefs, who starting to seem like he does have their number in some regards.
He's got Mahomes on a leash, but it's really not Mahomes. Like, Travis Kelce fumble was really uncharacteristic of him. But
Mahomes
you're right.
Didn't play great though. He really didn't. For Mahomes, I know the bar is ridiculous. Like Mahomes didn't have a vintage Mahomes games.
Oh no. I agree. And this is, that's one of those games where you wonder what would have happened if Tyreek Hill was there. Hey, can I go back to one thing on this that we talked about last week? How do you really love any pass catchers from this Kansas City team right now? Like, I know it was a tough spot. They got Denver this week. We'll see what happens there. But like Juju, McCall Hardman, even Travis Kelce is someone that, again, I get that was an odd game, but he's very expensive. This is just one of those teams that trying to get all of the pieces right has become extremely difficult.
Yeah, it seems even worse in these competitive games where you like MVS and there's too many players. So you're right. It was a game that played to their total, which is one of the highest on the week, and you like almost didn't need anyone from the game. What a strange scenario, but that's just kind of the diluted offenses that we're getting into, and we'll have to see. If we're devoid of value, there are less games. Again, we only have 10 games this week, so we're going to be forced into some tougher options with less pivots at each price point.
Then you have the Lions. I know we still have some differing opinions here, but I'm impressed with this team right now. I'm mostly impressed with the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown over the last 4 weeks has a 91% reception rating. He's caught 91% of passes. He's averaging over 10 targets per game, 37 of 41 targets he's caught, Ben, for like 430 yards. This kid's spectacular. And you have DeAndre Swift now played 53% of snaps, outsnapped Jamal Williams by a lot, 20 looks between targets and carries. Now you've got them going up against Minnesota. This is a fun slate, man. I'm looking forward to break it down. The last thing I'll ask you is the NFC South. It's still the Bucks division to win, but it's very possible, very plausible that they win the division, right? At like 8 and 9, and then host a Cowboys team that is a 12-13 win team.
Very possible. Like, in fact, probable, because they're going to be the 4. They're not good. I think they have issues that are not going to get fixed, to be honest. I think they kind of are who they are, and they should sneak in. That's more because the Falcons and the Panthers, and I mean, the Saints just gave that game away last night. So I don't have a ton to say on them. Detroit and Minnesota, which is on this slate, is going to be fascinating. Detroit wins this. Maybe we start talking about them as a dark horse to make a run and get in the mix.
I already am.
Yeah, I'm not.
No?
No. I think they're much improved, but I don't think they're actually relevant now.
Oh, I mean, I don't think this is a team that's going to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, you do. Them and the Eagles. I know how you operate.
Listen to me, man. Listen to me. What? Okay, so you think even like making the playoffs is far-fetched?
Yeah, I think well, listen, if they can get to even 8 or 9 wins, that's, I mean, a huge success.
Listen to the schedule. Vikings at home.
Yep.
Jets in New York. So that's a tough game, but I think
that's a loss.
Okay. Panthers.
That's a loss.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. Especially if it's in Detroit.
Panthers and then home game versus the Bears.
That should be good.
And then to close out the season against the Packers, who they stifled last time they faced. I'm not saying they win all these games, but they legitimately could go 4-1 over the last 5 games.
This is the one. Again, I mean, you've got a Vikings team that no one respects, like fighting for the 1 seed and slight dogs to Detroit. Like that, It's a little confusing. 53-point total. What's not to like in that game?
FF Doom said Dave's begging for a Lions matchup with his Eagles. Now, listen, I've rooted for the Lions for a little while now. I mean, obviously I'm an Eagles, but
they gave you guys more than you wanted earlier in the year.
Yeah. I don't think that happens again, but they're playing well. Listen, let's leave it at this. The window is definitely still open for them to make a run and get into the playoffs. Forget about what happens if you get in.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but obviously they have to win this week, and we'll say.
All right. Hey, let's do it. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Close it out with a defense under 3K. We always have a little bit of fun there. See if there's any cheap options. At the top this week, you have Josh Allen against the Jets. Sauce Gardner is unbelievably legit.
He's amazing.
He's a lock for defensive rookie of the year. Lock. Right? I mean, I don't know. Can't be anyone else.
No, I mean, the guy on the Jaguars, I think he's been a fine number one pick so far from what I've seen, but Sauce Gardner's running away with that, I would think.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson. The Jaguars, what's the Jaguars guy's name?
Not Jalen Carter. That's the guy who's still on Georgia. Trevon Walker.
Yes. Yeah.
I think, I don't really know, but I feel like he's been okay.
Yeah. Well, he's right now, he's plus 8,000 to win defensive rookie of the year.
So that's not good. He just needs like a 10-sack game.
What's that?
Yeah. 10-sack game and he'll just move up the board.
Tariq Woolen is second. Gardner's minus 500.
And he should be.
He should be. Absolutely. And then Aiden Hutchinson's plus 800. He's been great this year too. He's going to be excellent. Absolutely excellent. All right. Let's talk about quarterbacks. I kind of want to break this down in a trio right here at the top. I think it'll be a little bit easier because you're talking about Josh Allen against the Jets. Then you have Jalen Hurts against the New York Giants, who they're just defensively, they're just bad in both phases. I have some concerns that this is not concerns, but I have an inkling that this is a big Miles Sanders game. It feels like that's how it could go. Just pummel them on the ground. And then Mahomes against Denver. And Denver's defense, they haven't given up yet, even though nobody would blame them if they did. Even if Patrick Mahomes does carve him up a bit, who are you stacking him? Who are you pairing him with? So the big three here between Allen, Hurts, and Mahomes, I'm not including Lamar because I don't anticipate him playing anyway.
And he's significantly cheaper, so I get it. We're talking about the best quarterbacks on the slate, but I don't think they're in the best matchups. Josh Allen, weather pending. I mean, we'll see. They're finding ways to win. I don't think they've been overly impressive. Maybe it's some of the competition. Maybe it's road games. Let's say Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean, he played last time we saw him at home was that crazy game against Minnesota because they had to move the Cleveland game to Detroit. Then they were at Detroit. Then they were at New England. So now they're back home, but it's still a divisional game. I think by default, I'd say Jalen Hurts, but I have a strong feeling I'll be landing in the 5K range for quarterback this week.
Come again?
I said I have a pretty strong feeling that I'll be looking more in like the 5K range for quarterback.
I heard you. Yeah, I heard you. I just
wasn't bad. There's a lot of guys down there.
Jared Goff, Tyler Huntley,
Pickett.
No, get me away from that. Get me out.
Talk about a team that's live to make a run to the playoffs.
Get that shit out of here.
Steelers.
You want to play Pickett against Baltimore?
Yeah, the vaunted Ravens defense.
I'm not saying they're great. I'm not saying they're great, but Pickett stinks as a fantasy quarterback.
What about Danny Dimes?
Nah, get that out of here.
Guy runs for like 75 yards a game.
Dude, I would play Huntley over all of them.
Huntley?
Yeah.
Even if Lamar starts?
At least he runs.
Yeah, I guess. You know what? That is fair. Still, in Pittsburgh, that's not an easy spot.
Pair him with Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
I will have some Deshaun Jackson at 3,400. Pittsburgh's biggest weakness defensively is the long ball. It'll be kind of fun. Large field tournaments. Yeah.
Goff's going to be popular.
What's that?
I think Goff is going to be popular.
Oh, no question. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I agree with you. I think, and I don't have an issue with that either. Like Goff with Shark or Amon St. Brown, Shark has seen a nice little boost in opportunities recently. He came back 3 weeks ago, was very uninvolved, but ever since he's fully healthy, he's second in the team in targets, a mile behind St. Brown. And then you have Swift. We talked about the low tier. Like for me, it's Goff and Huntley down there. Let's just go out of order since you went down there a little bit early. Are there any other sub 6K guys that you're looking at?
6K guys. So that's where I think
sub 6K.
Oh yeah. Sub 6K. Again, you've got,
I'm saying any others that you're looking at that we haven't talked about.
I'm not going to say Russell Wilson, but he is 5,100.
Dude, no,
I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
Although it does. Oh God, I know it's one of those.
Not, whatever. I've seen dumber things than that work. What about here? Here we go. What about Ryan Tannehill?
I can't.
5,200 at home. No one's going to play him. I think that's probably somewhat warranted. Jacksonville on the road is a mess. They were a mess last week. Again, Millie tournaments, if you're looking off a pivot off a Goff or one of those guys, I think Tannehill deserves a look. He's in that Pickett YOLO range.
Okay. All right. Dude had some nice rushing attempts last week too, but it's tough for me to get there. I think this range is tough. Would you consider Mike White?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I didn't like Mike White last week, and he threw the ball 57 times, which is useful. And he still had no touchdowns. I just worry about exactly as more and more teams get film on him as he hits the road. I think he's priced where he should be. I'm not saying he's an objectively bad play, but I would clearly go with the field and play Goff. I would play Huntley, Daniel Jones, Tannehill all ahead of him.
Okay. I would play Huntley and Goff ahead of him. I wouldn't play Pickett ahead of him. I wouldn't play Tannehill or Daniel Jones ahead of him. I don't think. I don't like him, but if I'm not, I would take him over those other guys. What do you have any interest in Deshaun Watson this week?
So I think that is a super interesting. I kind of put him as the Tannehill of the sixes, where it's like it doesn't make a lot of sense. People are not going to want to do it. There's significant risk, but again, if you're looking to be different, because so like Dak is right there, and maybe you do get an outlier in the sense that Dallas does it through the air early. They're 17.5-point favorites at some spots.
I still don't like Dak that much.
No, I mean, I'll say this. If you stack Dak, you have to put, I think you absolutely need a run back, because the only way that he gets there is if Houston exceeds their team total.
Right.
And then you've got honestly, Geno Smith, who just delivers each and every week. I know he's been the cash quarterback, kind of the cornerstone there. That guy just shows up and produces his 3 to 4x, basically even a little more every single week.
Who is that? I'm sorry.
Geno at home against the Panthers. Like he doesn't, he's got the weapons on the outside. If Walker, he's banged up, maybe Geno is just play him and figure out the rest at another time.
He's been very consistent.
Super consistent.
8, 9, 10. He's thrown multiple touchdowns in 10 of 12 games.
That's what I mean. Like he's just quietly putting it together. And I mean,
he's having a great season. I remember coming into the year going, if Geno can even be decent, and I wasn't saying that he would be, I didn't know. I leaned on that he wouldn't. If he can even be decent, he's got Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf to throw the football to. He's kind of had an embarrassment of riches in that offense, from first Penny, then Kenneth Walker, and two great wide receivers with two entirely different skill sets. I mean, I like it. I also think Joe Burrow against Cleveland is fine. You have Higgins, you have obviously Jamar Chase, but I'm probably going to have a lot, and I know he's going to be popular. I'll find ways to get different. It's not that hard. I'll probably still have a lot of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I mean, that game is going to be, there's going to be a lot of stacks on both sides, and I get it. You've got everything that you really want. I'll probably play
Thielen's
Dalvin Cook.
4,900, Hawkinson's 5,100, you know?
No, it makes a lot of sense. Last guy that I have that I want to ask you, I was just praising him in the last segment. Joe Burrow is amazing, but if there's one team that has his number, it is Cleveland.
Yeah.
Now he's at home. He's got his weapons back. They're a 6-point favorite. I think he's not going to be sneaky by any stretch, but like, do you buy into anything like that, that maybe Cleveland's defense just seemingly is able to cause problems for him?
Yes. I also buy into the assumption that nobody is going to want anything to do with, I'm not saying he'll be unowned, but after last week, my guess is that Deshaun Watson is probably pretty low owned. And you're right. It's funny. You look at Joe Burrow and his performances against this Cleveland team, or Cleveland against Cincinnati. I don't think Joe Burrow's ever won a game against Cleveland.
He might not. It's consistently bad against Cleveland.
I don't think he has. Let me see here. Hold on.
I want to say they played on a Thursday.
They did earlier this year, for sure.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah, he's 0-4 against them.
It's weird.
Very weird. And a lot of these games, Cleveland just lit up the scoreboard. I do have some interest in Deshaun Watson here.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, dude, how insane. And listen, both of you said at the top of the show, Deshaun Watson did not look good. You know, everything.
Terrible.
He hasn't played in 15 years. But imagine the difference in ownership you're going to see here, where you have Prescott $100 more expensive than Watson, Geno $200 cheaper, and then Kirk Cousins $100 cheaper than Geno Smith. He feels like the odd man out.
He is. He absolutely is. And that's, again, you're measuring not just, and that's what the tools here at Stokastic can help you do. It's not just about the obvious play. That's the cash mentality. For tournaments, if you get somehow a Cleveland stack right, you are going to be, and say like the Lions game underwhelms, that's how you win a lot of money potentially.
I think we did it. I think we covered everything at quarterback.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Hey, guys, what if I told you over there at prizepicks.com, just sites blowing up. Ben and I were on a call last week. We were talking about how big they're getting right now.
Yeah.
What if I told you that you should check it out? I'd be right. But what if I told you, if you checked it out using the link that we have in the description and in the chat that Mike's going to throw in there, you'd get a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum, $120 value, all of our tools, all of our sports, not just NFL, all of our sports. What if I told you that Prize Picks also gives you up to $100 first match deposit bonus? You'd probably go, that sounds good. That sounds like something I should take advantage of. Well, you would be accurate. You would be correct, because most places, most sites aren't, teaming up with us and being like, all right, if we do this, you get we'll do a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum and $100 first match deposit bonus. And Ben, this is the part that people leave out all the time. This isn't just some rinky dink, call you a dog shit site where like you just sign up to get the free month and the $100 deposit. It's actually a site that is really cool, where you can win money, sustain a bankroll, 10x if you hit all your picks. It's a pretty sweet site.
It's an awesome site. And look, I mean, listen, the numbers don't lie. The increase in the number of people playing on Prize Picks is no coincidence. Like, yes, they're giving these promos and opportunities to get you to try their product, but people are sticking around. It's not hard to see why. Again, a dynamic format. You're using the same methodology you are on DraftKings and FanDuel to pick these props, to link them up. And you've mentioned, that format, it gives you a lot of room. I love, in the betting world, to bet parlays sometimes. And it's all or nothing. You either win or you lose. Here, you've got that middle ground. You can still build up your bankroll with having some of that upside. It's just a really cool site, and one that's going to continue to build and build.
I couldn't have said it better myself. But yeah, if you hit 4 or 5 in a regular parlay, you're toast. You hit 4 or 5 here, you're still 2x. You make money back if you hit 3 of 5. Pretty sweet.
Not bad.
Oh, But yeah, not bad. And you can do multiple sports in a lineup. So like if you wanted to go football, basketball, and hockey all in the same five prop lineup, you can do that. Check it out. Use the link in the description. That's the only way we can get you your free month and your deposit bonus. You got to use the link in the description, link in chat. Super easy to do. We'll see you over there. Prize Picks, sponsor of the Strategy Show. Talking running backs here. What do you want to do with Christian McCaffrey against Tampa Bay now that they have Brock Purdy, which probably translates to more work for McCaffrey, but 8,500 against a pretty good defense. Is this a spot you want to get to? And do you want to hit on any of these top tier running backs this week?
So I do have a little interest in McCaffrey, not a ton. I think that he's still in limbo of where he belongs in the hierarchy. Like it's not him from Carolina per se, but 25 touches last week, 10 targets. That's a pretty nice positive sign. Touchdown equity could be limited in some regards, but they're still at home and they're a good team. Derrick Henry at home, a lot of people are going to go there. He seemingly destroys the Jaguars every time, and he gets them twice a year. Bounce back spot, sub 8K. Saquon probably the odd man out against your boys. I think that's not money that I'm going to be willing to allocate. So a little interest in McCaffrey. Derrick Henry is the obvious target. And then, of course, I'll be talking about Dalvin Cook soon enough.
Yeah. Only six snaps for Jordan Davis last week, but that's his first game back. You assume that he's out there for a lot more run plays. I think this could be one of those odd games where, divisional matchup in New York that Barkley just ends up popping off. The issue I'm having here, and I'm with you, with Derrick Henry, he has just, annihilated this Jacksonville team on many different occasions. I mean, many different occasions. They are better on the ground, though. The run defense looks better. But problem I have is there's some good game stacks out there, and I probably am going to be looking to pay up for some receivers. You might be able to do both, though. If you're going with a cheaper quarterback, you might be able to pay up for a running back. I do like Henry here, coming off some bad games. Atomic Bomb Mother said it might depress ownership a little bit. I think that's possible. Like, he's not going to be unowned, but his price has come down. He's sub 8K now, so I think that is going to play a role in this. I do like Derrick Henry. I actually think I like Henry the most out of all of these three. I like McCaffrey. The only issue I have here is I know we both have a ton of respect for Shanahan's offense, but would it shock you if this is a real low-scoring game? No,
that's what I'm saying. The TD equity, when you're at that price, you need everything. You need bonuses, you need touchdowns, you need targets. So I worry about that. It's that 37-point total.
Is that what it's at right now? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's dangerous. It's hard to pay that kind of price for that kind of game environment.
I tell you, I like some of these mid-range guys, though, and this is where it gets a little interesting. By the way, hit the thumbs up if you guys. I know these are our. You guys are always. You're pretty vigilant about that, and I appreciate you for it. But maybe you forgot. People forget. Atone for your sins. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. It helps us a ton. If it didn't, I wouldn't even ask you. Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon against Cleveland is intriguing to me. Their run defense is putrid. I could go down the list here of guys that I like. I think both Pollard and Elliott are in play. Clearly not playing them in the same lineup, but both of them very viable. This could be clearly a 2-touchdown game for either one. Who knows? Maybe both. And I do like Miles Sanders this week. I love that the price came down a little bit. We've seen in favorable game scripts, like not favorable game scripts, but non-pass funnel defenses like the Titans. And you guys know I say this every week. With the Eagles, you have to be cognizant of that because they will just take your weakness and exploit it. Like they're okay, well, we can't really run that well against this Tennessee team. Maybe we won't even try. Maybe we'll just chuck it deep every opportunity we get. And that's what we saw. But the week before just absolutely lit up that Packers run defense, and they've been a problem all year long. The Giants are allowing 5.1 yards per attempt. Ben has hammered that home every single week this year. And Sanders is is one game removed from a 21 carry, 143 yard, 2-touchdown game. I think he's in a nice little spot here. And I don't imagine he'll be all that popular either. No, I don't think so. The Dallas, Pollard is going to be a name
you're going to hear about, obviously, and you should. But with that creates opportunities for these other guys. So I get it. Obviously, Swift, as we work down a little more, you mentioned that he's back. He's taken over their backfield. I do think there's also an element that if the Lions were like 2-10 or whatever, they didn't want to run him if they didn't have. But like now it's getting serious. Like this is the biggest game Detroit's had in
baby.
Year. Like if Swift is okay, they're gonna use him a lot. So I get it. You have guys up and down here, but that's why, just to circle back, it's tough to get McCaffrey, not because I don't like him, because I like these other guys and they're $2,500 cheaper.
I was waiting to get below 6K to talk about Swift, but
sorry.
All good. Well, I said he was back and you rolled your eyes at me when I started the show.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to live in a world where Detroit is relevant. I kind of like to keep them down. I don't know why.
You can't avoid it anymore. At least not from a fantasy standpoint.
They don't bother. I don't know why they bother me, but they do.
Yeah, I don't know why either. They're fun. Dan Campbell's the man.
No, see that, but
he's the man. He's awesome.
Is your Mike McDaniel. Whatever. It doesn't matter. See, you're already quick to correct the poor guy. You can't stand him. That's me with Dan Campbell.
Why? He's great.
No, that's the Dolphins coach. He's great.
What do you hate about Dan Campbell? Just that brutish mentality?
You know what I don't like? I don't like when people, every time they talk about a person, have to tell you that it's not an act. I don't like that. Like, oh no, trust me. Like this guy, that's how he really is. Okay, well, maybe if you.
I've never said that to you.
What? Society says it every time with Dan Campbell. It's like that's really who he is. Like, why do you have to preface saying that? Is he so outrageous all the time that no one can believe that's how he really is? That seems problematic.
Do you think he's outrageous?
Not until everyone is like, trust me, that's how he really is. I
think Mike McDaniel's far more eccentric than Dan Campbell.
No, I don't agree with that.
No?
No.
All right.
Yeah, Dan Campbell is an intangibles kind of guy. Suspicious. He wants it.
Like as if over the last 5, baby. I'd say there's some intangibles working there. You do hate him. That's why you don't like the Lions. I just got to the bottom of it real quick. It's Dan Campbell.
It's not even his fault though, because it's not like he seems like an all around good dude. I don't like the whole like, oh my God, like my coach is putting on pads, doing drills. Well, that doesn't really help you. It's not like he gets to play on Sundays. Like you let him coach. That doesn't help.
Yeah. I only saw like one episode of Hard Knocks, but he was doing up downs with the team.
Yeah. How is that useful?
It seems on that. I mean, look, Nick Sirianni's eccentric too. He's got some stuff that I'm not particularly fond of, but he's dialed it back a little bit. I don't know. Do you put no stock in the fact that his Dan Campbell's players really like the guy?
Yeah, I mean, when you have a substitute teacher in school and the class, there's no work, there's no organization, everyone's running wild.
That's crazy.
It's like, oh, player coach is great, but you got to win.
JoJo said, Lavi, Campbell equals charisma. Yeah, he's got the charisma. He's likable.
No, he's a real lunch pail kind of guy. That's more how I resonate. Like, oh, he's got like his players love him, and that keeps you around. But at some point, he's got to win.
He is.
That's good. That's why
he is winning.
He seems to have it on track. I can't deny that. It's not because he did up downs though. Like everything.
No, it's not. The up downs did not factor in. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I don't know what it is about him that I like in McDaniel that just irks the shit out of me.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah. Who's your least favorite coach in the league, personality-wise? Like, obviously, we'd all go to Hackett as a coach.
I don't even know his personality, but it's still him.
It's still Hackett? Okay.
Only because, no joke, with the, like, coach speak, give me a break. You can't say it every week. Like, it starts with me. We got to be better. we're all frustrated, but we got to get this thing right. We want it, and it's on me to get them prepared. Like, well, after the 9th week, when your offense put up 6 points, maybe say something. Like, I'll give Dan Campbell credit for that. At least he's like authentic up there. Hackett's just a robot.
I know. That's a problem.
What are you doing? Say something. Just be like, we are a disgrace. I'm sorry. Like, say something. But my least favorite coach besides him, maybe Pete Carroll.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm going to get into a Pete Carroll thing in just a second. I have a lot of respect for Pete Carroll, but he annoys me. Yeah. But FF Doom said Campbell is who Saturday wants to be so bad. I couldn't disagree more. Like, I don't think more than 3 weeks ago, Saturday even wanted to be a coach. Like, Jeff Saturday has to do, like, they just threw him into the fire. I don't think he ever came into this being like, I got to be Dan Campbell. What else does he have? He has no resume.
Yeah, I don't know what Saturday is.
You know what I mean, though? Like, there's not exactly a blueprint there. I don't know. Anyway, Pete Carroll said about Kenneth Walker, I figured I'd bring this up, that this is typical Pete Carroll, encrypted, right? Just straight speaking in cipher. He goes that he wasn't sure if he'd be available. He can't confirm his status yet, though he could be available. And then this is the best part. Carroll called Walker's injury unusual.
What does that mean? No context?
He never, don't you remember all of this with Walker before the season where it was a hernia, then it wasn't a hernia, then it was this and that. It's unusual, but he might be good Sunday. Who knows? I'm considering him out. I don't want to play Troy Jones or DJ Dallas. This will honestly be a backfield that I think I probably just avoid entirely.
This goes back to kind of quarterbacks. If I can get to balanced stacks, I'm not going to worry about the cheapies unless an injury pops up that I want to exploit, because I can live in the, Pollard, Cook, Elliott, Sanders, Swift range. And I don't need to try to figure out some of these splits. Like Fournette and White combined would be just the most electric back in the league, but it's really hard. They're getting both serious work in both areas, but not enough to really seem like they have ceilings.
That's where I just don't think I get there.
And they're playing the Niners.
I don't see myself with a split against the Niners. We can't ignore the fact that, yes, they won that game. They had 3 points through the first 57 minutes. And this has been a continuous issue. This isn't just like one game. They are who we thought they were.
Correct.
They really are. And I think there's I would rather go to Elliott before them, a 17-point favorite. Miles Sanders, Pollard, DeAndre Swift played almost 55% of snap. Ben, he had 20 looks last game. I mean, I was 1 week early. I was 1 week early on that, by the way, because I mentioned on Thanksgiving against Buffalo that this could be the week where they go, you know what? We need an explosive playmaker in this. Let's get him. It was a week late. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But 5,800. I'm going to give you two other players that you probably hadn't thought about, but I'd like to get your opinion on them. First one, Isaiah Pacheco against a Denver run defense that has some real holes. I'm not enamored with him, but I think he's okay. Next one, Donta Foreman against Seattle. 24 carries last time. They ran the ball 41 times between the running backs. I'm with you in that Seattle is good, but they're not great, and they let teams hang around. I think Carolina's defense is average. They're fine. I don't expect a rout here. I don't think $5,400 Foreman in large field tournaments is crazy, just with the insane volume he's been getting.
Pacheco, he's still in a Chiefs team that is very hard to know where they're going. So I get it, but I also have concerns, and I respect Denver's defense. Foreman, you know what he is?
Pretty good.
No, I mean, he is pretty good.
Hold on.
You know what he is?
He's a decimal back?
He is.
Yeah,
He's a decimal back. He really is. Last game, just move that decimal. It's tricky with him. So I worry a little about some of these teams because their team totals are so low. But one of the many shocking spread, maybe I shouldn't be shocked because I don't like the team. Did you see the Carolina-Seattle spread? In Seattle.
Hold on. It's in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say I haven't. 3.5, 4.
Yeah, 3.5. To me, that seems light. I thought this would be more in the 4.5 to even 6 range.
Me too. I must have seen it before. I think I did because I remember looking at it and thinking the same thing, which is why I got it right. I'm pretty sure I saw it. That speaks volumes about kind of both teams here.
It does. And it helps. I mean, Foreman needs to stay in the game. Like if they lose by 25 points, it's not going to be a good situation for him.
Agreed.
Who's the third guy?
It was just those two, but I did want to ask you, I had one other guy written down. I just wanted to ask you about James Cook, being that he's clearly now being not featured because Devin Singletary isn't going anywhere, but Cook's 4,600 coming off a 14 attempt, 6 target game. And that was against the New England Patriots, clearly a favorable game script in that one. But he was just, I always try and pull, one or two really cheap guys if I can to talk about. He was the cheapest I could find that I think is going to, potentially get volume on a good offense.
Yeah, I don't love the matchup. I would like to avoid it if there's no value that opens up and I have a stack that I love and I need someone down there. I think he's your best option.
Talk wide receivers here.
My dream optimal, both Cook bros. I tried that on Thanksgiving. Spoiler alert, did not work. Yeah, let's talk wide receivers.
All right. Hey, before we do, one more thing. We talked about Prize Picks earlier in the show. Appreciate all you guys being here with us on a Tuesday morning. If Prize Picks isn't available in your state and it's mostly just available in non-legal betting states, BetMGM is. So if you're, if you got up and you're putting your head through a wall in agony and disappointment that like nothing good ever happens to you because now you can't get the free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum, you can't get the $100 first match deposit bonus, and you're like, my life fucking sucks. Everything sucks.
That's aggressive.
It is, but you see it. It happens. My DMs are open.
Mine aren't.
I'm saying if that is you right now, or maybe it isn't, maybe it just hasn't hit you yet, right? Like you're going through the 4 or whatever stages of grief, and it's about to hit you, you can alleviate that because at BetMGM, if you sign up using the link in the description or in the chat, we're giving you 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum. When you sign up and deposit $10 and put it on any bet that you want, any bet, whether you win or lose, after that bet settles, you're getting 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum, all the tools on the site. So pull your head out of that drywall, friends. It's time to get over there and get 2 free months, $240 value. No, and Ben, $1,000 risk-free bet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll alleviate all your life's ailments, but I will say this, you won't know either until you actually try. So you should sign up and do this and then come back to the show and be like, I did that and that was a great promo and I still got a lot of problems. And then you can complain to Lofty in the DMs, but you have to do this step first or you'll never know.
Just they come on covered in white dust.
Yeah.
It's either a horrible meth binge or it's just drywall dust. One or the other.
50-50 shot.
That's why you take advantage of this because maybe like Ben said, it won't alleviate all your problems. Some things won't
probably
go away.
Won't.
What?
I said it probably won't, but it can't hurt. Like
having the best tools in the world for DFS is got to make you feel a little bit better.
That's what I'm saying. It can't hurt. Like you can either not have those tools or have them. But no, it's cool. And the one thing I just want to highlight before our antics there, it's not like you get our tools for 2 months in lieu of the deal. You also get the risk-free bet. So if you're like, I really like the sports bet, not super familiar with the deal is still there. The risk-free bet of up to $1,000 is nothing to ignore. That's a great opportunity right off the bat to take a big swing and possibly double or triple your initial bankroll.
Check it out. Link in the description. Link in the chat. BetMGM, if it's available to you, take advantage of it. Larry said, what kind of people are DMing Laffy? I've sent some of them to Ben. Look, honestly, sometimes
People are
it's
crazy.
Sometimes it's just straight crazy. Most of the DMs I get are great. Like it's people thanking me, thanking us, right? And saying that they love the shows and everything. Like that's the large majority of them. And then they might sneak a question in there, which is fine. But sometimes you get some dark stuff once in a while.
People are nuts. That is one thing I'm me, like nobody in a world of nobody. And like, if I get the crazy things, it just proves I would never want to be famous ever.
Yeah.
People are insane. 99% of people are quite normal, but the 1% out there, I obviously would be able to get rid of them if I was running things, but in the world we got, it's crazy.
I've thought about it before. Like if I was famous, how would I handle it?
Oh, it'd be awful.
Yeah. I don't think well.
No, I don't even handle this well. So how the hell am I going to handle being famous?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Would you might just become tyrannical.
I'm already like that. Like more?
Yeah, more.
Yeah, I guess.
Like
that part seems actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just imagine being accosted every time you go out.
I know.
Pictures and stuff. And then, you're in a hurry. So you blow the person off and then they go to Reddit being like, this celebrity's a jackass. Like, what do you like? Give me
how many times have you had people recognize you on the street?
It's happened, but very infrequently.
Yeah. Okay.
And those people are very normal for the most part. And it's so infrequent. It's actually kind of cool to be like, oh, wow.
It is. It is.
If it happened every day, I would not be thrilled.
No, if it's but that's when the crazies come out to play.
That'd be awful.
Yeah.
And people expect, like I said, their lone interaction with you. They base your, like, I was at a restaurant and I saw so-and-so sitting in the booth. I asked for an autograph and he said, I'm sorry, I'm eating. What a dick. It's like, what? What is wrong with you? Like,
that's the person that then makes a massive scene before going on Reddit, and trimming their neck beard. Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson at the top. The best week I've had all season was a Detroit game stack with I forget what it was. It was, the point I'm making though is that this is just one of these teams where there's so many different ways for it to go really well. There's ways for it to go poorly too. I think it was Miami, Detroit, as a matter of fact. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson. This is why you and I spend so much time on running back, because some of these mid-range running backs, even some sub 6K guys, are going to be so valuable. Because Jefferson and St. Brown, and we can dig in a little bit deeper. I don't know what you want to do with Diggs. I don't know what you want to do with Jamar Chase against Cleveland. But I know they're going to be chalky, and I'm not saying that there aren't some good alternatives here to get different, because these are all, preeminent, cream of the crop, the most elite receivers in the league. No matter who they're facing, they can blow up. But Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'd be shocked if these aren't the two highest owned receivers this week.
I totally agree. I think it's warranted. If you have the money, go and get them. I'm trying to, I do this a lot, particularly with wide receiver. I think of it kind of in levels. Like, those are the guys that I want. Those are the guys the field want. Where are the less aggressive pivots? I think it's probably the Cincy guys like Jamar Chase. Not going to be sneaky, but not to that level. Then the next level for me, I think CeeDee Lamb, just because everybody sees the total in that game and thinks rightfully so Pollard, Zeke, not CeeDee Lamb. What if CeeDee Lamb has 3 touchdowns in the first half? Like, that could happen. I'm kind of interested in that as we work down. But the only guy I really don't want, and he's a damn good player, I really respect the Jets defense. I'm not sure I'm going to get the Diggs unless it's with Josh Allen.
I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think that possibly funnels you to like a $5,300 Gabe Davis or a real cheap Isaiah McKenzie?
Maybe a little. Maybe I just fade the game. Again, we'll see if it's snowing. Who knows? It is Buffalo, but I have a tough time when this is where you have to really look at, it's not can Diggs beat Jefferson? Yeah, of course he could. He's got to beat Jefferson and Chase and St. Brown and Lamb and Met. There's a lot of direct pivots off Diggs. So you could get him right and he overperforms, and you could still be boxed out with so many of the other elite pass catchers getting there.
For sure. And FF Doom said, so it'll be Jamal and a Thielen week. I like Thielen. I have no problem with Thielen this week. I mean, he is very unpredictable. And I think you're likely, you're going to get more disappointing games than great ones, but he's coming off a game just on Thanksgiving where he topped 20 fantasy points. It's not like he's not involved in the offense anymore. Thielen at 4,900, I think is a more than reasonable option this week. I expect him to be relatively popular as well, but he's going to be on the field for 90+% of snaps in this game. I'll take some shots there, no problem.
Definitely. I mean, it's loaded at wide. Again, first glance, I feel like I want 4 wide receivers in my lineups this week. I really like these ranges. Like Metcalf makes a lot of sense. Amari Cooper, he was terrible last week because of Watson. He still has 33 targets over the last 3 weeks. Like, that's serious volume. Debo's just lurking. Garrett Wilson's price is coming up, but he's been fantastic. There are options up and down the first couple ranges.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton. Do you want the Seattle receivers?
Why not? I never get them right like most people, but I actually don't. I know everyone says that. Can't get them right. Last week, you couldn't get them wrong. They both got there. Like, it seems like a pretty good target. What a great range. Seriously, one of the stronger wide receiver ranges I can remember on the year.
I'll give you somebody I like. And I'm a little bit surprised by it, but I think it's an interesting spot. DJ Moore is 5,500.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that game looking more competitive than you might think. Now his quarterback's been bad all year, no matter who it is. So
I think Darnold's an upgrade from Baker Mayfield.
That's what I'm saying. It can't get much worse. You've got him. Gabe Davis is there. Again, these stupid Broncos guys staring me right in the face. I
won't do it.
Okay.
You can. But like, if we're talking about touchdown equity,
they don't have any.
It's non-existent.
No, you would have to hope they start playing special teams and there's some type of muffed punt and they can fall on it because they're not going to score. They're just that bad.
They need to Treylon Burks it.
They need to Treylon Burks it.
Where do we get to a point where, and this isn't a leading question, like I'm actually asking you this question, where certain teams we go, they could get it done and the prices come down so much. And like, in large field tournaments, you have to be different. So you apply that logic to they're going to be low owned. I'm being different here. I still believe that they could get it done. This is week 14 and Russell Wilson has one game this season with more than one touchdown.
Yeah, that ship has sailed. They're getting worse. They're not improving.
Yeah.
No, I think if you're looking for plays in this, Deontay Johnson to me is someone you really should look. I played him last week, 11 targets, 5 for 60, underwhelming, but at the same time, it's there. He's at home. If the weather is okay, I'm not worried about Baltimore secondary. I like Pickett. He's reasonably priced. He's the straight alpha. Him, Thielen. You mentioned Burks. It was a concussion. Like, if he's fine, he's fine. Yeah, you got cheapies down here if you want them.
Yeah, I got some more too.
Shark.
Brandon Wagner said, "How did Burks hang on to that ball?" Yeah, I saw it. That was incredible. Insane. Hey, I'm wondering if he just went. When you get knocked out cold, you just kind of go, you just freeze up.
No, I don't know, but
you've seen it. They just
I've seen it, but I don't know. Most of the time when that happens, the guy drops the ball instantly because I am a doctor, but like, I'm assuming the nervous system like shuts down or something. It seems not good.
It's like rigor mortis, but he's alive.
Sort of, sure. That's not where I would have went, but yeah, okay.
But still, I'm saying though, if he was actually unconscious as that hit occurred, well before he hit the ground. Holding on to the ball it's a miracle.
Yeah, I don't really understand how we did
But we'll
that.
go with my explanation.
Sure, why not? That's a known medical. Like if you don't know, just let the other person.
Pre-death rigor mortis.
Why didn't I concur?
Tyler Boyd against Cleveland, 5K. His price come down. That's whatever to me. Adam Thielen, though, 4,900. DJ Moore, I like Moore. Treylon Burks against Jacksonville. I got no issues with that at 47, assuming he plays. And then you get into an interesting range like DJ Shark. There's another piece of that 53-point total between the Lions and Vikings. Corey Davis against Buffalo. That's tough, but if you're throwing 1,000 times, maybe I'll take some shots. And I said earlier, listen, you guys heard it when Deshaun Jackson has a 60-yard touchdown reception in the first quarter against Pittsburgh. You remember you heard it here first, Ben.
I won't remember because I was watching the highlight of the Treylon Burks thing that our man Mike just threw up. Say that again. I
said when Deshaun Jackson has a 60-yard touchdown in the first quarter, remember you heard it from me first.
First and last. No, that's not going to happen.
Really?
Yeah, no, he's not going to catch. Yes, he's not going to catch a 60-yard first quarter touchdown. You heard that here first.
All right. 50.
Okay, that's fair. You were just being too aggressive. 50-yard touchdown, sure, no problem.
Okay. He will. Man, people are gonna be real pissed when this doesn't materialize. But
honestly,
$3,400 against the Pittsburgh team that gives up huge chunk plays through the air.
You got the Giants receivers down there too. That Hodgins guy.
Hodgins,
5 for 44 and a touchdown last week. Price is stuck. Should be in a, I respect the Eagles, obviously, but he's so cheap. Shaheed.
He's not even on the slate.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see the New Orleans game.
No.
Okay. Chat, you duping me. Give the old, I love Shaheed, love that price point. And it's just like, well, no wonder I couldn't find his price. I thought he was down in the threes.
Mitchell said Gallup. Gallup had a weird game, 2 touchdowns, very little production outside of that. What do you make of him? And then last question, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is legit.
Oh, he's fantastic. Now, again, they threw the ball 57 times.
Yeah,
but
and Tre'Davious White's just getting healthier.
Yeah, I'm not in. I think I might bank my dividends off Garrett Wilson and call it a week and sit this one out. Gallup, I think all the Cowboys outside of the backs are very interesting just because everybody is assuming, rightfully so in some regard, that when it's a 17-point spread, they won't throw the ball. And that could be true or that could not be true, or you could get there in the first half. There are outs.
There's a lot of ways that can go wrong.
You're just incurring more risk.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm saying there's a lot of ways it can go wrong in the sense that as 17-point favorites, you could do what Miami did the other week is 14.5-point favorites. The starters are out through, I'm not saying they come out as early as they did, but they say they don't play the whole fourth quarter. And then your touchdown scores are, like a Noah Brown and a Hendershot or something. And then they have a defensive touchdown. Of course, I'm just like bullshitting, but you know what I mean. When a team is so bad, there's so many different ways that you can easily take a big lead against them. Like we saw what Cleveland did last week, and then things go awry because you don't need anybody in the second half.
But you also get a discount in ownership on guys that are in a team environment where there could be 5 or 6 offensive touchdowns.
Absolutely. All I'm saying is
you could just get lucky.
Yeah, I'm just saying to get it right can be, and they have 2 running backs that are going to split carries on the ground.
Yeah. Dallas is the toughest team this week because they're going to score and score a lot.
But how?
But how? Exactly.
Tight ends, and you said you had something you wanted to bring up at the end. So we'll rip through tight ends and then we'll get to you before we close this show out.
Good. Good. It's not, you obviously couldn't guess what this is. It's a question, chat. You obviously have to stick around. It's a legitimate question. I need a yay or nay on something.
Okay. I'm assuming a question that'll devolve into some nonsense.
I mean, I would say no, but probably.
All right. Tight ends. Do you want to pay for Kelsey or Andrews this week?
Not particularly, no. I mean, can you? If you have the money, that's great. Where would I rather be? Freiermuth, go down. We've ripped on the Broncos a lot, rightfully so. Dolchich, despite being on this godforsaken team, he's 3,400 and he's a good player. You've got options. That's my biggest problem for paying up. Like I got guys in the threes that are more than fine.
Yeah.
No, it's not lava related.
I like Hawkinson a lot. He's the one guy. I think that's the highest I'm going this week.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Facing his former team too. Should be fun.
Like
Hey.
Aikens got 6 targets last week. There
Yeah,
are cheapies.
I'll give you the cheapie. You ready for this?
Austin
Mike, where's
Hooper.
where's that drum roll drop, Mike? There's no way you guessed this either. You can try sub 3K.
It's not who I just said.
Who'd you say?
Austin Hooper.
No. Funny you'd mention that though.
What's the other guy?
Chigokonkwo, baby.
Yeah. Well, I got the team.
Yeah, you got, check this out.
Oh,
Chigokonkwo has, do you want to hear what his, so since he started getting used, you want to hear what his long receptions are over the last 5 weeks that he's been like actually getting opportunities?
so it's funny you say that because at least once a week, red zone, it's just like a long pass for the Titans. And it's just like, who the hell? And then they're like, that's Chigokonkwo. And it's like,
Is
well,
it Che?
I don't know. What do you think?
I
know
wasn't
what's
sure if
going
I
on?
was pronouncing it wrong.
I don't, let me find his,
It's not on.
Chig?
It,
Chig?
yeah. I'm saying though, is that how it's pronounced?
Seems that way. That's an awesome name. Chig? Chig Raza. What a name.
It's a,
If I have a kid, I'm naming him Chig.
well, his real name is Chigosium.
That's not bad, but I like Chig.
Chigosium Okonkwo. Sounds Irish.
Maybe it is.
Listen to these long receptions. 48. These are just 48, 41, 31, 17, 41.
How is that possible?
He's pretty nasty. He's got 5 targets in back-to-back games. He hasn't scored since, week 4, but his route participation is increasing. His snap share is coming up. They're so depleted as far as pass catchers go. I feel like another 5 targets here isn't out of the question at all for older Okonkwo. He played a season high 58% of snaps last week as well. I don't know how many of them came in garbage time, but his big plays were before garbage time.
He's obviously shown that he's got the ability, volumes, the more of the bigger issue, but I don't know. You got Hayden Hurst is sporting the doubtful tag, so I don't know a lot about Mitchell Wilcox. A little, but not a lot. I guess you could look to him just as if you want exposure to Cincy, but you're kind of flying blind there. Yeah,
it's bad. Okonkwo, baby.
Okay.
I don't think it's insane. Like obviously I'm not expecting greatness from him, but for a guy that has the big downfield ability, as a favorite at home, I don't mind it. I really don't.
He's clearly a talented dude. Like,
yeah.
There's no doubt he's got the skills.
I think Dulcich might be the highest owned tight end this week behind TJ Hawkinson.
I'd agree with that.
Especially if Denver continues to have injuries at wide receiver. I don't have an issue with Dulcich either. Like that's the one Denver guy that is very cheap, nice target share. You don't need a huge game from him. Like opportunity cost just is not the same as tight end as it is at wide receiver if you're playing Judy or Sutton over another guy in that price range.
Yep. Totally agree.
Defense under 3K. And then I want to hear your question. I think everyone's waiting on pins and needles for this question.
Yeah, it's not going to be what you think. Defense.
I don't think I have no idea what it's going to be.
Defense under 3K. Pittsburgh.
Damn, Titans just fired their GM.
Why? Because he sucks, or like he did something incredibly illegal?
It's a good question. They're still leading. They're still 7-5, right? Leading the.
Yeah, no, I'm being serious. Like I
know.
didn't know if they fired him because of like they're
Right.
not trending in the right direction, or he did something where it's like, sir, you have to go now.
Because if it's just that they're not trending in the right direction, it's an odd time to do that.
Really odd. I mean,
Right?
they're gonna win the South. That's
could be.
That was not smart. That's true.
Although you never trade I would never want to trade a known commodity for a guy that might be good. I still think Treylon Burks is going to be sick.
He's going to be good.
But the risk attached to that seemed like it was, I guess they're looking at it just be like, oh, well, we'll have him on a cheaper contract for 4 years, but still. Anyway, who did you go with at defense?
I said that I think that you could look to the Steelers. If you believe, you know what? It sounds scary, but the
Denver?
Browns have gotten to Burrow every time. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, stats don't lie. Every time they play Cincinnati, it's like, well, it's Burrow in this offense, and they tear him apart. So it's in Cincy, but don't ignore Cleveland.
Okay.
Who are you going with?
Tampa at San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know. It could be like a Jacksonville at Tennessee, and Tennessee just struggles, but
Carolina.
I don't see enough mistakes being made with the Titans offense. Carolina's interesting. Yeah. Carolina is kind of 2,200. I kind of like that actually.
Yeah. For the true pay down, obviously it's going to be Carolina.
All right. 10 likes to get to 100. We get to 100 likes and then we hear Ben's question.
Scenario.
None of us have any idea what it's going to be. 9 likes to get to 100. There's 9 of you out there who've been a little stingy with the thumbs up.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So let me, while they hit the like button, to push this over. I have stuff on my wall behind me and I'm looking, not even looking. I've mentioned that I want to get a couple more things, and May got me a couple of things to potentially put on the wall, but I want to show it to you guys to see if you can tell what it is, and B, if you think it's a good addition.
Well, we're over 100 likes,
okay.
So we're in the green zone.
There's 2 of them. Look at that. What do you think about that?
It's
this ring.
A SpongeBob ice cream thing.
Melted.
Yeah, I see that much.
Okay,
they have them at the ice cream truck.
I mean, I loved the
Ninja Turtles melted ice cream.
Yeah, with the gumball eye drops.
Definitely an interesting choice. Now, May is the creative type, right? Like the artistic type.
She's an artist.
Yeah.
Not really, but yeah,
we follow each other on Instagram. I see some of her stuff. So
good. Keep me warranted. Make sure there's nothing scandalous going on because I don't have Instagram.
Here's my opinion. I think they're pretty cool.
Okay.
The color scheme is going to be odd going up against everything else. So you're going to have to find a way to make that work where it doesn't just blast everything away from the room and all you see is that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll paint the wall lime green.
That could work. And they kind of just are concealed a little bit.
Yeah.
No,
maybe instead of hanging on the wall, I'll just do my next show like this. I'll just hold it up.
Hang it from like a fishing line right next to your head.
Yeah. And just have them like swinging.
Like wind chime.
Yeah. That's actually not the worst idea. Okay. So that was my question. Chat, I got a mixed bag of reaction. I'm going to work on it. You may see them behind me at some point, but I got to do some work. I don't know.
The biggest question is just, will it clash real bad? Other than that, I think they're cool.
Oh no, I think they're pretty cool. I just didn't know if it was the right blend behind me.
That's what I mean. Like if they clash with everything else on the wall.
Yeah. Okay. To be determined, I guess.
TBD, baby. Hey, follow Ben at Jazzraz DFS. Wait, you might get some creative. You might get some tweets where you go. Okay.
Maybe I'll tweet this out.
You should tweet it out.
Yeah, that'll
follow
be good.
me at Loughy_D, LOUGHY_D. Shout out to Mike for producing this one. Appreciate you guys hanging out as always. This was a fun show. This is a fun slate, man. I like this.
It's going to be a good one. Obviously, stay tuned throughout the week when we get ownership and things like that more finalized. But it's going to be a very exciting one, and I can't wait to really dive in on Sunday.
BetMGM Prize Picks in the description. We'll catch you back here next week. Peace. Woo,